miss me? I hope that you did, because it's been at least a solid month since I've posted anything. And yes, I realize that that's much longer than I said originally and than I ever really hoped it would be. It's been kind of a crazy month. I've gone on a couple different trips. One where I was driving by myself, went on a little road trip for myself, and then I went on a trip with my family, and now I'm on another trip by myself again. It's been quite a year. And I'm very much aware of that and understand exactly how lucky I am. So, ta-da. We also got some really hard news for my dog, Annie, where we found out that she had cancer on her heart, and then 3 days later, she was gone, which I'm still trying to come to terms with. But anyway, that kind of threw things off a little bit as well. But anyway, it's been a long time, which in turn means that I have a lot to talk about. First things first, I have read 5 books. I never really thought about how many books I go through in a year, and so maybe 24 isn't going to be as ambitious of a goal as I originally thought it was going to be. Because it's April, we're 4 months in, and I've read more than 10 books, probably. I don't actually know because I don't have my list in front of me, but thereabouts. And it's true that a lot of these are Audible books, and I may be cheating in some people's eyes, but that's okay because I'm still reading them. So, the first book is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And this book, I watched the movie first on Netflix, and then I went and found the book because I really enjoyed the film, which is interesting because I usually go the other way around. I usually read the book first and then go see the movie. And it's just a whole different game with that. There's a certain amount of anticipation for the movies to see how they changed it, and you still have that when you swap it around, but it's not really the same thing, which was an interesting find. I really loved the book. It was written as a series of letters and journal entries, mainly letters, pretty sure, which had a whole new vibe for it compared to the movie, which I really liked. And it's about World War II and writing books, becoming a novelist, coming into yourself, discovering what's really important to you, and love, because why not? Love stories are always great. I highly recommend it. It was a great book, and everyone should read it. The end. Next, Get Lucky, which is a book that my mom read, and it was a really interesting book. Something that I knew nothing about at all beforehand. She just had it on her Audible account, and so I downloaded it and started listening to it. I wasn't really sure if I liked it at first. It kind of took a minute because it's like a self-discovery book as well. And so the more that she discovered herself, the more I liked it, because the more I liked her, the voice of the author at that point. Anyway, this woman discovers that she doesn't actually like her job and finds that it's kind of degrading to humanity. She's a advertisement specialist and was focusing on selling a lot of different products that degrade women in general. But she moved home to Texas, quit her job, and then became a surrogate for her sister, who was unable to have children, and found love, found purpose, yada, yada, yada. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun read. It's a beach book read, which is great. Next, Kiss Carlo. So I don't know if you guys have this kind of book in your life, but I have one book that it doesn't necessarily matter what kind of book it is, how big it is, who writes it, what it's about, but I have one book that takes me forever to read. I don't know why. I have no idea why this specific book takes me so long. Like, you finish lots of books in the interim, But it takes about a year, and for some reason, it just is kind of a drudge to get through, but you like it, so you keep reading, but it takes forever. That's what this book was for me. Fun book, and I enjoyed the writing style, I enjoyed the content. Took forever to finish. It's about an Italian family who has been split up about a feud for about a lifetime. Once again, finding yourself, coming to your own, finding that what you're doing isn't fulfilling in the way you want it to be, and finding something different. Eventually finding love after you find yourself, getting into trouble multiple times in the midst of there. And so, like, lots of different stories. It's fun. There's theater elements, there's food elements, there's impersonation, and a lot of Italian themes, a lot of, discovery. It was good. Good book. Kiss Carlo. Highly recommend that one as well. Next one. I read another Amelia Peabody Emerson, but you know what? I don't think that anyone can complain this time because I read 4 other books aside from that. So I'm branching out. You're hearing about new things. The golden one is the one that I'm on, and I have no idea what number it is, like 14, 15, 16, somewhere in that range. It's just a series that I enjoy. I once again recommend it for everyone and anyone who likes adventure and English characters and murder mysteries and the Egyptian culture and everything, and it's great. Highly recommend it. Finally, Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling, which she's on The Office, part of the producer writing team, but also starred in it as well. And the reason that I chose this book is I have this memory of my mom and I laying in bed on vacation, and she was reading this book and laughing out loud to the point that she nearly peed her pants a couple of times. And she read me like a couple little excerpts from it, and everyone needs a chance to laugh like that sometimes, right? So I did the audiobook version of this, and I think that I probably would have enjoyed it more if I had read it for myself instead of had Mindy read it to me. It's kind of a compilation of different essays, different things about her life, memories, thoughts, opinions, so on and so forth. And I think that there are times when I took it too seriously and wasn't able to really enjoy the humor of it because of that. I'm gonna sneeze. Blah, blah, blah. So some essays, some thoughts were completely hilarious and I laughed a lot, but then other essays I was equally as disturbed by. So very funny, but take it with a grain of salt. And also there's like a little bit of profanity in there. Not too much. Take it for what you will. Still funny. Still glad I read it. Wasn't my favorite. Yeah. But that's also, okay, I might get a lot of hate for this, but it also might be because of the fact that I've never watched The Office. I've watched all of Parks and Recreation, and I hear that you usually like one or the other, and so I'm so hesitant to start The Office because I love Parks and Recreation so much, and I don't know. I'm that person. So take that for what you will. Next, a play. I went to a play. So this is a staged reading, which means that most of the lines are not fully, completely memorized so that they can have the script in front of them. A lot of the times it is memorized, but not to the extent that it would be for a real performance. It's not blocked, so all of the actors stand in a line at the front of the stage and say their lines, in character, of course, and connecting to each other in the way that they speak forward as if everyone's in front of them, which is really interesting. And so then the stage directions are read instead of performed. There's a huge benefit for that because it's such a different experience from reading it yourself and then seeing the play. It's like the midway point where you're able to really just imagine and create it with them, which I really liked. And anyway, I went with a couple of friends of mine at BYU. I went with Chelsea and Jacob, and they're amazing. We had a great time. The play was called Wit, and I highly recommend it. I think it's also a movie, but it's about this woman who has been a intellectual giant, and she comes down with cancer, and her process through that as she's discovering what she's supposed to do and how she comes to terms with that. Really powerful, wonderful play. I made Yorkshire pudding, which I found on the Great British Baking Show because that's something that I love a lot, and it's new for me. It was good. I filled it with mashed potatoes and beef and a mushroom sauce, and it's a different texture than I'm used to, and I liked it, and my dad and my sister liked it too, so success. I don't know if it's going to be a regular on the Haas family dinner table, but I liked it. I donated clothing. I find that this is kind of a process that needs to be gone through multiple times because I'm personally emotionally connected to my clothing. And so I have a hard time getting rid of it because I associate it with memories or the things that I want to do or want to become with it. So I go through my closet, and then I also inspire my sister and my mother to go through their closets. And the bummer about that is that we're the same size, my mom and I. And so when I get rid of something, she's like, oh, I'll take that dress. I'll keep that. And then she goes through stuff, and then I'm like, oh, I've always wanted that shirt. I'll take it. So, you add things as you take things away. So that's why I say it needs to be done again multiple times. But anyway, here is the before and the after of me getting rid of a few items and donating clothing. Now, if you're astute, you will notice that in the subtle shift, I have changed my outfit and my location, which there's a very good reason for that, in that I'm filming this on a different day because I ran out of time, but mostly because my computer died while I was filming the other one. Apparently, when you don't talk about things that you've done for about a month, there's a few things to talk about. So, the last thing that we're going to talk about is that I did something that scared me, which is that I climbed Angel's Landing in Zion, Utah, which is a great hike, and I recommend it for everyone to certain degrees. And you'll understand why as I talk about it. So this hike, I did most of it once with my mom, but I didn't go all the way to the end. The first part is a lovely hike along this river, and then you get into this path where it's switchbacks. That's the word. It's switchbacks that are cut directly into the mountain. So they're kind of steep. Because it's almost straight up. And you have a couple different sets of that. And so you gain a lot of elevation fairly quickly. And the first part of the hike actually goes quickly. It's the last half mile that takes a long time. And that is because it's positioned on a sheer cliff. So what it is there's this rock at the end of this mountain pass. Well, mountain. That looks like the only way to get to it is by being an angel and slowly descending to it. Hence Angel's Landing. And so the way that you get to it is by walking along this ridge where you have sheer drops on either side of you. And the kind of sheer drops that you're not gonna make it if you fall, or at least you're gonna wish that you didn't make it. Insanely gorgeous, and it's on slick rock, which is a deceiving name because it's actually not slick at all. It's great. They have a chain that's along the entire route, of the shear drop, aside from one part, which is diabolical. So you can hold on to the chain the entire way you're walking along. I'm not sure how much this helped me. Well, I am, in the fact that I am sure that I would not have finished if there was no chain, and if my friend Alexis had not gone with me. She's amazing, and we met in Nepal, and she's a kick-butt lady. Anyway, I am surprisingly afraid of heights, and that's surprising because I do a fair amount of like cliff jumping, cliff diving. I want to do skydiving, which is one of the things I'll do this year, and like all those sorts of things. But apparently when you're not intentionally supposed to go off of the thing that you're on to fall, that's when I start freaking out. And so even the bottoms of my feet even the bottom of my feet right now are tingling because I am freaking out a little bit, even right now. So along the way, there would be points where I had to kind of like crouch down and just put my hands and my feet on the rock and be like, I'm fine. I'm holding onto a very solid rock. I'm not going to spontaneously roll off the side of this mountain because I'm going to stay very still and I'm going to think about this rock that I can see right in front of me. And I'm not going to think about it. Maybe I'll sing myself a song. And I held very firmly onto my chain. I would do like fist over fist kind of method, which I'm not actually sure how much it would help me because my hands were really sweaty. And it wasn't actually the greatest of holds that I would have had, but I didn't really think about that while I was there. Anyway, Angel's Landing. Amazing. Terrified me. Not sure I want to go all the way to the end again, but amazing, and you should really think about it. It was great. So that's it. That's it for right now. I am, however, in a very adventurous time period right now. I'm currently working on a few different things, and so I promise the content will come a lot quicker next time, namely next week, because I have a surprise. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with that wonderfully mysterious detail to keep you intrigued. Thank you for watching. As a recap, I did 5 books, 1 new recipe, 1 thing that scared me. I donated clothing, and I think that's it. Oh dear. I made a list, and I tried to make it snappy, and it didn't work. Oh, and I saw a play. Yes, all those things. Great things. Until next week, my friends.